Child, listen. The ancestors say the greatest blessings wear the cloak of hardship. So when you see an old woman bent like a crescent moon, her bones singing with the weight of the world, do not turn away, for the dust on her feet may be the dust of destiny. The sun bled crimson over the village of Umbokodo, where the earth was red as a newborn's cry. The wind carried secrets, smells of roasted groundnuts, wood smoke clinging to thatched roofs, and the iron tang of the river where women sang as they pounded cassava. But beneath the laughter, the land ached. Drought had come like a thief, stealing the breath of crops, leaving the soil cracked like an elder's palms. And in the heart of this thirst walked Adunni, a girl of 12 rains, her skin the deep brown of fertile soil, her eyes holding storms no one else could see. Adunni was an orphan, her parents swallowed by the same river that now ran thin. She lived with her auntie, Mama Nkechi, whose love was as scarce as the rain. "Useless girl," she'd hiss. "Your hands are too weak to fetch, too slow to grind. What good are you?" But Adunni's spirit was a quiet fire. One evening, as shadows stretched long like lazy cats, Adunni dragged her clay pot to the river Ojiji, river of ghosts. The water was low, the banks littered with brittle bones of fish. Then she saw her, an ancient woman, her back curved like a baobab branch, her skin wrinkled as dried-up riverbeds. Her cloth was ragged, her feet bare and bleeding. A gourd, heavy with the last drops of Ojiji's mercy, trembled in her hands. "Daughter," the woman croaked, "this weight is too much for my bones. Will you help an old one?" The village girls giggled, whispering, "Foolish Adunni, that's no woman, that's Aya, the spirit who eats kind children." But Adunni remembered her mother's last words. The measure of a soul is what it gives when it has nothing. She knelt, lifted the gourd, and the old woman's eyes glinted like hidden stars. As they walked, the gourd grew heavier. The path twisted into the sacred forest, where shadows whispered, and the air smelled of moss and magic. "Why do you help me, child?" the woman asked, her voice now smoother, deeper. "Because the water is heavy," Adunni panted. The woman laughed, a sound like rain on parched earth. "Ah, but the water is not what weighs you down." Suddenly the gourd slipped, not from Adunni's hands, but from reality itself. It shattered against roots that slithered like snakes, spilling not water, but light. The old woman's form shimmered. Her rags became robes of living indigo, her staff a branch of lightning. "You have carried kindness when fear told you to run," she thundered. "Now carry this." She pressed a single seed into Adunni's palm. It pulsed like a heart. A kind hand plants trees whose shade it will never sit under. The earth swallowed Adunni whole. Down, down she tumbled, through roots that clutched like skeletal fingers, past echoes of women long gone singing "The River Remembers," until silence. She landed in a world where the sky was beneath her feet. Above her, or was it below, a river flowed upside down, its waters glinting like shattered mirrors. Trees grew in spirals, their fruits humming in voices. And there, in the center of it all, stood the old woman, no longer frail, but radiant, her skin gleaming like polished obsidian. "Welcome, Adunni," she said, her voice the rumble of distant thunder, "to the place where truths grow wild." This was Ile Ife, the hidden realm, where spirits walked as freely as the wind. The air smelled of ozone and old magic, the kind that prickled the skin. Fireflies here were tiny stars, and the ground was alive. It pulsed under Adunni's bare feet like the flank of a sleeping beast. The old woman, Aya, as the village feared, stroked Adunni's cheek. Her touch was cool as moonlit water. "You passed the first test, child, but the seed I gave you, do you know what it is?" Adunni uncurled her fingers. The seed had split open, revealing a tiny green shoot, vibrating as if singing a song only the earth could hear. "It's growing," she whispered. Aya's laugh was the crackle of dry kindling. "It is remembering." A rustle in the spiral trees. Out stepped a boy, no older than Adunni, his skin the blue-black of midnight, his hair woven with living vines. His eyes were mismatched, one the brown of fertile soil, the other silver like a fish's scale. "This is Omi," Aya said. "The last rain before the drought." Omi stared at Adunni with a sadness so deep it made her ribs ache. "They trapped me here," he said. "The village elders. They feared the floods, so they cut a deal with the Dry One." Adunni's breath hitched. "The Dry One?" Aya's face darkened. "The hunger beneath the earth, the thirst that cannot be quenched." Omi extended a hand. In his palm lay a shard of pottery, etched with markings. "Your village's betrayal," he murmured. "They gave me to the sands. But you carried water for Aya. You can carry truth back." Aya snapped her fingers. The upside-down river ripped open, revealing a cave of bones. "The Dry One's lair," she said. "To free Omi, you must face it. But beware, it feeds on fear." Adunni's knees shook. "I'm just a girl. I'm not brave." "Bravery is a seed," Aya countered. "Small at first, then it grows." She pressed the singing seedling into Adunni's palm again. "This is your people's last chance. The Dry One grows stronger. Soon, even tears will not be enough to water the dead." Omi touched her shoulder. "I'll go with you, but the final step, only you can take." Together, they stepped into the cave. The walls pulsed like a throat. The air reeked of burnt honey and decay. And then, a voice. Not a sound, but an absence of one, a vacuum that pulled at Adunni's soul. "Little fool," it hissed. "The village hates you. Your aunt beats you. Why save them? When the moon is hungry, it eats the stars first." A clicking, like teeth on bone. The Dry One emerged from the shadows. Not as a beast, not as a man, but as a shifting void. A figure woven from parched wind and the last gasp of dying things. Its face was a cracked mask of clay, lips sewn shut with thorny vines, yet it spoke, its voice slithering into Adunni's mind like smoke. Ah, the orphan girl, the one even the river refused to drown. Adunni's breath came in shallow gasps. The seedling in her hand had shriveled to a brittle twig. Behind her, Omi tensed, his silver eye flashing like a trapped storm. "Lies," Omi growled. "The river didn't take her parents, you did." The Dry One's laugh was the sound of sand grinding against stone. The cave walls trembled, then split open, revealing visions. Umbokado in bloom, years ago, the river fat with fish. The elders gathered under the baobab, whispering of too much rain, of crops rotting. A midnight ritual, a child, Omi, bound with ropes of braided grass. And Adunni's father, the village drummer, raising his voice in protest. "No, this is madness. You cannot sacrifice the rain itself." The Dry One's voice purred. "And for his defiance, they gave him to me too." Another vision. Adunni's father forced to his knees, the elders' hands shaking as they carved his bones into a flute. "This flute controls the rains now," the Dry One crooned. "Play it and the skies obey, but it demands a price, a memory per note. Your father's bones are almost empty." Adunni's knees buckled. The air smelled of salt and rust. Her own tears, her own blood where her nails bit her palms. The Dry One uncurled a skeletal hand. In it lay the bone flute, its surface etched with her father's name. "Take it," it hissed. "Play it and I'll release the rainbow. Your village will flourish, but you will forget. First your parents' faces, then your own name, then the weight of water itself." Omi grabbed Adunni's arm. "Don't, it's a trick. The Dry One feeds on stories. If you forget, it grows stronger." But the Dry One whispered sweeter, "Or break the flute. Free your father's spirit. But know this, no flute, no rain. Your people will wither to dust." Adunni's heart hammered. A choice. Play the flute, save the village, lose herself. Break it. Free her father, Doom Umbokado. The withered seedling in her hand ached. Then, a warmth at her back. Aya's voice, though she wasn't there. "Child, the greatest magic is not in holding on, but in letting go." Adunni's tears hit the cave floor. Where they fell, tiny green shoots erupted, pushing through cracks in the stone. The Dry One recoiled. "No! That seed was dead!" But the shoots grew, twisting into vines that glowed like captured moonlight. They snaked toward the flute, cradling it, not to break it, not to play it, but to sing to it. And then Adunni understood. She knelt, pressing her lips not to the flute, but to the vines, and she hummed. Her mother's lullaby, the one sung when the storms were too loud. The bone flute shattered. The axe forgets, but the tree remembers. The cave exploded outward in a tempest of memories. Adunni was flung into the air, the world a blur of whirling water and ghostly faces. Her father's smile, her mother's hands braiding her hair, Omi's laughter before he was bound. The Dry One's shrieks faded beneath the roar of resurrected rain. Then, impact. She crashed into the river Ojiji, now swollen and thrashing, its waters the color of bruised plums. Above her, the sky was a wound. Clouds ripped apart, bleeding rain so thick it stung like needles. Omi was gone. Or, no. He was the storm now. His voice echoed in every drop. They will remember. They will see. Umbokado was drowning in truth. Huts trembled as the flood surged through the streets, carrying bones, so many bones, from the river's belly. The elders' secret hoard of skulls tumbled into the open, each one etched with markings of stolen rains, and the people saw. Mama Nkechi stumbled from her hut, her face ashen as she recognized one particular skull, the drummer's, the one who dared defy the pact. Her hands flew to her mouth. We thought it was the only way." Adunni dragged herself onto shore, her body aching, her spirit alight. The seedling, now a vine coiled around her wrist, pulsed like a second heartbeat. Aya stood at the village square, her true form unveiled at last. A towering figure of living water and lightning, her hair a cascade of river reeds, her eyes twin whirlpools. "The Dry One is weakened," she boomed, "but its hunger remains. The balance must be restored by the hands that broke it." All eyes turned to the elders, now cowering like ants in a downpour. Aya's staff struck the ground. The floodwaters parted, revealing a circle of ancient stools carved from baobab wood. "Sit," she commanded. The elders hesitated, but the vines at Adunni's wrist snaked out, dragging them forward. As each elder sat, their stools sprouted thorns that bit into their flesh. "Now speak," Aya said, "not to us, to them." The skulls at their feet began to glow. One by one, the elders confessed how they'd sacrificed Omi, the rainbow, to the Dry One in exchange for moderate weather. how they'd murdered Adunni's father when he tried to free him, how they'd fed the bone flute with memories, first criminals, then volunteers, then anyone's. The villagers wailed. A man hurled a rotten mango at the chief elder. "My brother vanished last dry season. Was he flute food?" Adunni watched, her chest tight. This was justice. But the sky still raged. Omi's storm had no mercy in it. Aya turned to Adunni. "The Dry One's power is broken, but the land is out of balance. Too much thirst, now too much rain. The Veens chose you, child. Decide punish the elders with death or offer them a harder path." The chief elder sobbed. "Kill us! Drowning is easier than living with this shame." The seedling vine squeezed Adunni's wrist. She knew. "No," she said, "you will live, but from today, you will carry the water." Aya's smile was a flash of lightning. "So it shall be." She snapped her fingers. The elders' stools sprouted into towering gourds, hollow and heavy, fused to their backs. "These gourds will never empty," Aya declared. "Every dawn, you will fetch water for the sick, the elderly, the children, until the day the river forgives you." But then, a new sound. A low, grinding groan beneath their feet. The Dry One wasn't finished. A river that floods never returns the same way. A deep cracking groan, like the ribs of the world splintering apart. The ground beneath Umbokado split open, revealing a darkness so vast it swallowed the rain. From the abyss rose the Dry One's true form, a skeletal giant woven from cracked riverbeds and the bleached bones of every creature that had ever died thirsty. Its voice was the rasp of a dying man's last breath. "Foolish child, you cannot kill hunger." The elder's gourds shattered, water sluicing into the Dry One's maw. It grew larger with every swallow. Adunni stood alone at the fissure edge, the vine on her wrist now throbbing gold. Aya's voice whispered through the storm, "Remember the seed. Remember what it really is." The vine uncoiled, slithering down Adunni's arm, shaping itself into a drum. Small, taut-skinned, its body carved with symbols of twin rivers, one flowing up, one flowing down. Adunni understood. This was no ordinary drum. This was her father's last gift, woven from the seed's magic and the love he'd planted in her. She struck it once. Boom. The sound rippled outward, and for a breath, the rain froze mid-air. The Dry One hissed, "No! That rhythm is forbidden!" Adunni bared her teeth. "It's the rhythm of remembering." She began to play in earnest, not the elder's controlled, fearful beats, but her father's wild, joyous rhythms, the ones that used to call the monsoon. With every beat, memories surged. Her mother's voice singing as she stirred the evening pot. Her father's hands teaching her the language of the rain. Omi's laughter as a free spirit before they caged him. The Dry One writhed, its form unraveling. "Stop. You'll kill us both." Adunni played louder. The drum's twin rivers glowed, one light, one dark. Aya's voice rang clear. "The Dry One is right, child. You are the balance now. Strike the final beat, and you'll bind yourself to this land forever. No longer just a girl, but the bridge between thirst and flood." The villagers gasped. Maman and Kechi wailed, "Adunni, no!" But Adunni was already singing, her voice raw with power. "Let the rains fall where they should. Let the rivers remember their names. Let the hungry be fed, and the guilty carry the weight." She brought her palm down. Crack! The drum split in two. Light erupted. The Dry One screamed, its body dissolving into 1,000 rivulets, seeping back into the earth. Not gone, but balanced, its hunger tempered by the drum's sacrifice. Omi reformed from the rain, no longer a boy, but a young man with eyes like calm pools. "It is done," he murmured. The fissure in the earth healed, leaving only a scar, a new stream, its waters clear and singing. And Adunni? She stood changed. Her skin gleamed with water and light, her hair braided with living vines. When she blinked, her lashes shed tiny blossoms. Aya bowed. "Welcome, Olori Omi, spirit of the living waters." The village would never be the same. The elders kept their gourds, trudging daily to the new stream, their shame as eternal as their task. The bone flute's curse was broken, though sometimes on quiet nights, you could hear a ghostly drumming near the river. As for Adunni, some say she walks the land during droughts, her footsteps sprouting miraculous springs. Others swear she visits Umbokado in dreams, leaving wet footprints and the scent of rain. But when the storms come now, they are gentle. And the children? They sing her name to the clouds. The tree that bends with the wind drinks from many storms.